energy bars, pre-made pizza and pasta dishes, poultry and fish nuggets or sticks, burgers, hot dogs, and packaged soups, noodles, and dessert. When I first read the NOVA definition, though, I was actually inclined to reject it because it seemed to reflect a certain distasteful food snobbery. Like, why is a carton of mass-produced vanilla ice cream considered an ultra-processed food, with all of that term's negative connotations, while a batch of homemade vanilla ice cream is merely processed? After all, a few industrial additives likely make little difference to our bodies, and in the case of some mass-produced vanilla ice creams, such as Haagen-Dazs, the product's ingredient listing reads like a recipe we might use in our own homes: cream, skim milk, sugar, egg yolks, and vanilla. But when I read further, I learned that the NOVA system builds into its definition of ultra-processed food a number of external factors that clearly do make a difference to our bodies by pushing us toward overconsumption of less healthy food while luring us away from healthier whole foods. Specifically, in discussing ultra-processed food, the NOVA team includes this statement: the main purpose of industrial ultra-processing is to create products that are ready to eat, to drink, or to heat, liable to replace both unprocessed or minimally processed foods that are naturally ready to consume, such as fruits and nuts, milk and water, and freshly prepared drinks, dishes, desserts, and meals. Common attributes of ultra-processed products are hyper-palatability, sophisticated and attractive packaging, multimedia and other aggressive marketing to children and adolescents, health claims, high profitability, and branding and ownership by transnational corporations. In other words, what makes the mass-produced vanilla ice cream problematic is the very ease with which we can buy it cheaply and consume it in great quantity, and the degree to which we're encouraged to do so by a constant barrage of sophisticated and aggressive marketing. None of that is true of homemade ice cream, which takes time and planning to make, precisely why so few people ever undertake the project, even when they actually have an ice cream maker languishing in their kitchen cabinets. Most mass-produced foods are also hyperpalatable, as the NOVA team notes, meaning their flavor and texture have been carefully calibrated to make them extremely pleasurable to eat. So pleasurable that some experts believe they're actually addictive, or at least potentially so. In this way, the NOVA definition of ultra-processed food squares nicely with one of food writer Michael Pollan's most oft-repeated food rules: eat all the junk food you want, as long as you cook it yourself. I realize there are still some gray areas in NOVA's definition. Would hand-churned vanilla ice cream from a family-owned shop still be merely processed? What if the shop used artificial additives but never engaged in marketing? Some people have criticized the NOVA system for these inconsistencies, along with its obvious anti-corporate bias, and I've cited a few of these critiques in the endnotes. But even with this admitted fuzziness on the margins, I still think the NOVA definition gives most of us a pretty clear mental picture of the foods and drinks in question. At any rate, it's exponentially more precise than the self-serving definition offered by the food industry. I use highly processed in this book as a synonym for NOVA's ultra-processed category, just because I prefer it stylistically. But in light of the correlation between a diet high in ultra-processed foods and beverages and a host of serious health concerns, I sometimes just refer to these products as unhealthy, or, where it feels especially warranted, as junk food. Introduction. When it comes to feeding their kids, most parents start out with the best of intentions. They simply want to raise healthy eaters. But even before our children climb down from the high chair, it can feel like junk food is coming at them from every direction. We take our toddlers grocery shopping, and though they can't yet read